Happy birthday, He-Man. Yeah. Me and you are the same age now. Your everything's gonna hurt when you wake up in the morning. Just a heads up. October 12th, 1982 is the date that Mattel is officially celebrating as the birth date of Masters of the Universe. That is when they say that Masters of the Universe officially hit retail store shelves, making He-Man, Skeletor, and the entire crew 40 years old as of October 12th on this year. And as I said, we've kind of been celebrating it all year long already. Mattel's had quite the initiative to really push Masters of the Universe this year. Tons of toy reveals. They had the big Hall H panel at San Diego Comic-Con. They revealed the massive Eternia playset. We got to do the Mattel tour. There's been all kinds of stuff going on for Masters of the Universe, and I really love to see it. I love to see Mattel celebrating one of their iconic brands. That's not just Hot Wheels and Barbie, right? He-Man's important. It's important to not only Mattel, but just the landscape of action figures, and of course, so important to many fans around the world like me and all of you that are watching here today. So to celebrate the 40th birthday, Mattel actually did a cool little birthday party, and around the Alamo Drafthouse theaters, they aired a special screening of the 1987 Masters of the Universe motion picture starring Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella. I know the argument can be made that that movie is not 40 years old, considering it came out in 87, not 82, but all the same, I think it's fun that we're celebrating He-Man's birthday by getting that movie back out in the theaters, even if only for one night. So I had the opportunity to go to Los Angeles, go to the Alamo Drafthouse, and go where the party was at. Now, if you were at an Alamo Drafthouse, you probably saw that there was like a special Q&A screening before your movie. I was in the theater where that Q&A actually took place. That is right, my friends. I got to watch the 87 movie with He-Man himself. Dolph Lundgren was there in attendance. I still can't believe it. Holy cow.
Driving down from West Hollywood, where I live, and driving down here, I was thinking about everything that's happened since I shot that picture in 1986. And in one way, it feels like yesterday, and another way, it feels a long time ago. But yeah, there is something special about the picture. I know that, for instance, in the UK, over all these years, people always loved that movie, but now it's kind of made full circle, and there's something, I don't know, there's something special about it that makes people love it.
So before the movie, Dolph did a small little Q&A. It was really fun. He just answered some questions about the movie, talked about, some of it was the same kind of stuff he talked about at the panel at Comic-Con, but love hearing him talk about his experience. He was so just overwhelmingly positive thinking back on it, and I just love that. There's something about that you gotta love, right? Like, we all know how campy this movie is. We all know how different it is from the lore that we all grew up with, either the mini comics or the Filmation series. But, all the same, it still has its place, in my opinion, and for all intents and purposes, Dolph seems to have a lot of fond memories surrounding it. So it was actually really fun to listen to his answers, listen to him talk about this movie.
I think everybody had heard of He-Man in those days. I'd seen the cartoon a little bit. I'd seen some of the toys. I wasn't really an expert on it. But when I was chosen for to star in the movie, I remember my first appearance was at Macy's Day Parade, 1986, I think it was, in New York, and I was on the float, with He-Man and Beastman and all of those guys, and we ended up at Radio City Music Hall, which is a theater about 10 times this size, and I ended up on stage, and there were all these little kids in there with little swords screaming, "I have the power!" About 1,000 of them, and that's when I realized, that it was a big deal, and so there's a lot of pressure on this young actor who just kind of found fame only like less than a year before.
And then we got to watch the movie. It was pretty cool. Dolph was actually in the row right in front of me in the theater. It was kind of crazy. But it was really neat because he was there with his family. And I believe this was the first time, I think he said it, this was the first time that his children were actually watching this movie. And so that was actually really fun to know that we were in the theater and that experience was happening at the same time. Yeah. Look, I've got to say, I absolutely loved getting to watch this movie on the big screen. I don't think I've seen this movie on the big screen since I was 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old, when my mom took me to see this movie in theaters. So it's been since I was a little kid since I've actually seen this movie. But let me tell you, like, this movie meant a lot to me as a kid. This right here is still my original VHS copy where my mom taped it off of Showtime. Along with RoboCop, which is very not kid-friendly. But let me tell you that I watched this movie on repeat off of this VHS tape for many years as a child. And despite the fact that there was no Battle Cat, despite the fact that we didn't get to properly see Eternia, I loved this movie. I loved it when I was a kid. And sitting in this theater, watching it, surrounded by other fans, surrounded by Dolph Lundgren and his family, and just getting to experience this movie on the big screen was a pretty magical experience. And I don't care who you are, there's always something special when you get it, when you are around your fellow fans and you're all experiencing something like this together. There's some serious magic there. That moment where He-Man grabs that power sword and yells, "I have the power." And then Skeletor says, "Let this be our final battle." Tears, guys. Brings tears to my eyes every time, but especially this time. It was awesome. So immediately following the movie, we went downstairs and there was like a reception. It was really cool. And I got to mention that Alamo Drafthouse was completely decked out in Masters of the Universe merch and memorabilia. It was amazing looking at this place. They had movie posters up for all of the versions of He-Man, right? All the different animations. They all had posters up for all the different animations for the original movie. All of those were up. They had this massive lighted banner that had just all of the different animated characters in it. It was missing the 2002 stuff and New Adventures, I think, but still, it was an amazing banner, very colorful, very cool seeing all the different iterations of He-Man in this amazing 40th anniversary banner. The hallways of the theater were lined with merchandise. I mean, we're talking action figures from throughout history. They had like magazines, like old magazines featuring Dolph Lundgren and stuff were displayed. My book was on display along with several other of the amazing Dark Horse books. It blows my mind every time I see it somewhere like this. But it was so cool just to see like all of these amazing homages, these nods to this brand to really celebrate it that night. At the reception, we got to do fun things like we got these party hats. I have the birthday power. It's goofy, it's campy, right? But it was really fun because we actually all donned these birthday hats, including Dolph Lundgren, and we sang "Happy Birthday" to He-Man. I mean, you can't get any sillier than that, but I was there for it. It didn't matter. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear He-Man. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Also Skeletor too. There were 40th anniversary cupcakes. Oh, and there were some displays, some toys on display. In fact, Mondo was there, and they brought out their brand new Battle Cat that's on the way, and it was on display. This is like the first time like the full thing has really been properly displayed, which is pretty amazing. But also, stay tuned, because I'm going to have a closer look at that coming up on the channel very, very soon. So it was really cool. Dolph Lundgren was there. Cam Clark was also there. Of course, he's a famous voice actor known for many voices, Ninja Turtles, but specifically he voiced He-Man and Prince Adam in the 2002 series. So I got a chance to chat with him for a little bit. Also, I saw Rebecca Taylor, but I didn't see her until the very end of the night. I feel bad. I saw her kind of on my way out. Wife of Mark Taylor, one of the original creators of He-Man. So it really made me feel good that they invited out some of these different people who were very influential on this brand and seeing them there. I also realized afterwards that I am terrible about getting photos because I really should have got pictures taken with all these people, but at least this is the second time I got to see Dolph Lundgren this year, which is still blowing my mind. Like, what? That's crazy. How did that happen? All in all, this was a really fun experience. And I just, I really just kind of wanted to make this video to talk about how cool I think this whole thing is. It's so neat to see this brand really get this kind of recognition. Since we have now officially passed the official birthday, I would think that we're probably kind of winding down on all these special He-Man celebrations, and who knows, I don't know if, in another 10 years when He-Man turns 50, that also means that I'll be 50 and many of us will be in our 50s. I mean, will we still be here doing this? Will we be having another big event like this? I mean, I have no idea. If they do, I'll be there for it. But I have no idea. And all I know is that I am just very, very, very grateful that I got to experience all this stuff this year, and that we got to see all this cool stuff happen, because I could sit here and do this again. I've done this many times, so I won't bore you with this, but this brand has meant a lot to me. It has changed my life legitimately, and I am so happy for it, and I'm so happy for all of you, and I'm so happy we can all enjoy this together. So, as they say at the end of the 87 movie, my friends, we don't say goodbye. We say good journey. So my son just walked in here right as I was finishing up recording, and he handed me these pictures he drew. He drew Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain. How amazing is that? My kid's awesome.